In response to water stress, the plant shows osmotic adjustment. Now, this osmotic adjustment is very beneficial for the plant to maintain the water balance. Okay, in osmotic adjustment, the plant shows decrease in osmotic potential, which is caused due to the accumulation of solutes. So, in response to water stress, the plant shows accumulation of some kind of solutes, which decreases the osmotic potential of the plant. So, when there will be more solutes, the osmotic potential will be reduced. Okay. Now, the solutes here includes is inorganic ions, sugars and amino acids whose concentration is increased in response to water stress. The plant increases the concentration of these molecules in response to water stress. Now, what is the role of these solutes in the water stress? That these solutes, when they are accumulated, they generate a more negative leaf water potential. So we remember one fact that water always moves from higher water potential to lower water potential. Water moves from higher water potential to lower water potential. Okay, wherever water is more, the water will be moved from that region to wherever the water is less. So what we see that these solutes are, when they accumulated, they cause a negative water potential. So that when there is a negative water potential, it allows the water to come inside the plant. So if any region which has negative water potential, then that means water will enter in that region. So the solutes cause the leaf water potential to become negative, as a result of which the water is moved inside the leaf. Okay, it helps to maintain water movement into the leaf, and the leaf turgor is regained. Okay, so once the leaf turgor is regained, it has several effects, as we all know. It helps the stomata to be opened. Once when the stomata are opened, they helps in the CO2 uptake, which is the main essential requirement for photosynthesis. So under condition of osmotic stress also, under condition of water stress, what happens? The plants accumulate some kind of solutes. These solutes causes a negative water potential, which allows the more water to enter towards the leaf, enter into the leaf. So the leaf turgor is regained. Okay, once the leaf turgor is regained, stomata opens up and it allows the entry of carbon dioxide, which helps in photosynthesis. So what are the solutes? I told some sugar, some amino acids are accumulated. So some sugars, some amino acids are accumulated. So among the amino acids, proline is particularly sensitive to the stress. Particularly in the water stress conditions, proline is an amino acid which will be accumulated in a very high concentration. Okay, there will be the synthesis of proline from glutamine in the leaves. So as the proline is accumulated, the turgor is recovered. Very important concept. Now these solutes like proline, amino acid sugars, they are the solutes which are accumulated in response to water stress. And these solutes are said to be as compatible solutes. Okay, so one kind of compatible solute is proline. Others include like sugar alcohols, example sorbitol, mannitol, and some quaternary amine named as glycine betaine. Okay, so the question comes from here also, that glycine, betaine, proline, they are compatible solutes. So what is the role of this compatible solute? That they do not interfere with the enzyme action. So I would like to explain one concept. Say this is, if a leaf, if this is a magnified view of a leaf, we see that in response to water stress, what happens? The water goes out, water is evaporated through transpiration. So water goes out, so the concentration of solute increases. Here the solute means, say for example, instead I'll write the ions. So the concentration of ions increase in response to water stress. Okay, so water goes out and ions increases. So once ions concentration is very high inside the leaf, what will happen? These ions will interfere with the metabolism. Okay, these ions once accumulated in high amount in the leaf in response to water stress, they will hamper the metabolisms because they are the charged molecules. So to adapt, what do plant do? They accumulate these ions in the vacuole. They move these ions into the vacuole. And another process which they show is that they synthesize compatible solutes. So one way to combat with the stress, what do? They compartmentalize these ions which increase in response to water stress, because water is less, so ions cannot move from one place to another. The ions accumulate in the leaf. So ions, when it's accumulated, it hampers many metabolic process, so the plants accumulate these ions in the vacuole. So once they are accumulated in the vacuole, they cannot interfere with the metabolic process. Once they are not in the cytoplasm, they cannot interfere with the metabolic process. So, and to decrease the water potential, they accumulate the compatible solutes. Now, what is the peculiarity of compatible solutes? That these compatible solutes do not interfere with the enzyme functions. And these compatible solutes are accumulated in cytoplasm. Clear? This is a very important concept. So cytosolic enzymes of plant cells can be severely inhibited by the concentration of ions. They are restricted to the vacuoles, where they are kept out of the contact with the enzymes in the cytosol or subcellular organelles. Now some plants, they shift to the CAM metabolism. What is CAM metabolism? CAM metabolism is a kind of carbon fixation in succulent plants. It is a process of carbon fixation in succulent plants such as cacti. Now there are some succulent species which display facultative CAM. Now it's not necessary that only the it's not necessary that only the cactus family of plant shows the CAM metabolism. So there are some succulent species also which are not compulsorily CAM, but they show facultative CAM metabolism. That means they can shift to CAM metabolism when there is water deficit or saline condition. Okay, so there is a difference between the term facultative and obligate. Facultative means it's not compulsory that they will be CAM all the time. Obligate means they cannot show any type of metabolism, they will be only CAM. Obligate CAM means they will, throughout their lifetime, they will show CAM. Okay, so this switch in metabolism is a remarkable adaptation to stress. It involves the synthesis of one important enzyme known as PEP, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxylase, another enzyme pyruvate orthophosphate dikinase, and NADP malic enzymes. So remember, these are all are enzymes required in CAM metabolism. So once they start shifting to the CAM metabolism in the water deficit condition, they synthesize some enzymes which are required in CAM metabolism. And this is a reversible process. They shift back to the normal metabolism. They shift back to their original metabolic process. Okay, original metabolic process when the stress is removed. When the stress is removed. Clear? So see here, these are the days after salt stress. Just taking in the water stress also, in the salt stress also this can happen. So see, initially in day 1, the amount of PEP carboxylase was very less, but in day 6 the PEP carboxylase was increased to a very high amount. So a plant named ice plant, scientific name Mesembryanthemum crystallinum, what they do in the salt stress condition, they shift from C3 metabolism. In the normal condition, when the water availability is high, they shows C3 metabolism. But they shift to CAM metabolism when there is water stress or salt stress. So this was done in the lab condition where they induced the salt stress by the addition of 500 millimole NaCl to the irrigation water. They saw that after few days there is synthesis of PEP carboxylase, okay, which shows that they have shifted to the CAM metabolism. Okay. Now osmotic stress changes gene expression. We already saw that during water deficit, what happens? The solute concentration increases, the ions concentration increases. Okay, the ion concentration is increases, and these ions are moved to the vacuoles, and there is a synthesis of compatible solutes that includes proline, glycine, betaine, sugar alcohol, mannitol, sorbitol. So the enzymes for the synthesis of these solutes, compatible solutes, will be activated. Okay, so several genes which encodes the enzyme for compatible solutes, they are encoded. So pyrrolane 5 carboxylate synthase is an enzyme for proline biosynthetic pathway. Betaine aldehyde dehydrogenase is the enzyme for glycine betaine. Myoinositol 6-O methyl transfer is the enzyme for sugar alcohol. Just for the information I have given that the enzyme specifically is not asked very frequently. Okay, so they are upregulated by osmotic stress also, salinity and cold stress also. Now there is another enzyme known as glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, which is increased in osmotic stress. What is the role of this enzyme? This enzyme allows the increase of carbon flow. They helps in the synthesis of organic solutes. Okay, so to adjust the osmotic, so to show the osmotic adjustment, the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase, they increase the carbon flow and forms organic solutes. Now organic solutes are then acting as a compatible solute. Okay, so once a glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate that dehydrogenase, it was used in different pathway. This glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase is an enzyme which is required in glycolysis. It catalyzes the 6th step of glycolysis. Okay, it helps in the synthesis of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. Okay, so this enzyme is also acts as a regulatory enzyme. This allows an increase of carbon flow to the organic solutes for osmotic adjustment. Okay, there are some reduction in the key enzymes also takes place. Now what happens? Again, this is a very important concept. Now we know that the sugar alcohol mannitol is accumulated in response to osmotic stress. Now you might be thinking that the enzymes for sugar alcohol mannitol becomes activated, that because of which the mannitol becomes accumulated. So this is not true. So what happens actually is the synthesis of sugar alcohol mannitol is not brought about by the upregulation of genes which are responsible for mannitol biosynthesis, but rather by the down-regulation of gene associated with sucrose production. So when the sucrose production genes will be down-regulated and when mannitol degradation genes will be down-regulated, then there will be the synthesis and accumulation of mannitol genes. There will be the synthesis of mannitol. So remember that sugar alcohol mannitol is not synthesized by the upregulation of any genes. They are synthesized by the downregulation of two genes, mainly The genes responsible for sugar production, which is sucrose production, will be downregulated, and the genes responsible for mannitol degradation will be downregulated. This leads to the accumulation of mannitol during osmotic stress. Now another important signaling pathway which is activated by ABA hormone in response to the osmotic stress. So some genes are induced which controls the osmotic stress. Some genes are induced by ABA, and there are some genes which are induced in osmotic stress which are ABA independent. Okay, so osmotic stress tolerance can be by ABA by in a ABA dependent manner, or it can be in a ABA independent manner. So it's not necessary that all the genes that are upregulated by osmotic stress are ABA regulated. There are some genes which are activated in a ABA independent manner also. So in this signaling pathway, what we see that the signal, osmotic stress signal, is perceived by an osmotic stress signal receptor on the plasma membrane, which is activating an ABA dependent pathway and an ABA independent pathway. Now, protein synthesis participates in one of the ABA dependent pathway. So, protein synthesis participates in one of the ABA dependent pathway, which causes the signal transduction. Clear? So, this protein synthesis, it involves MYC and MYB protein synthesis, which alters the gene expression and causes the osmotic stress tolerance. Now another pathway known as BZIP pathway, which is also activated in response to ABA, okay, they involves the recognition of some promoters. So this BZIP pathway, what this does, they helps in the recognition of ABA responsive elements. In gene promoter. So these two together, which are activated in response to ABA, they alter gene expression, which helps in osmotic stress tolerance. Now another pathway which is activated in an ABA independent manner includes MAPK cascade and DREB CBF. So this DREB CBF, when they form an association, and MAP cascade, they together helps in altered gene expression independently. Okay, they together helps in osmotic stress tolerance. So these are the pathways which helps in osmotic stress tolerance. One will be ABA dependent pathway, another will be ABA independent pathway. In ABA dependent pathway, MYC and MYB proteins are synthesized and BZIP transcription factors are activated. Okay, which and BZIP transcription factor, it recognizes the ABA responsive elements in the gene promoter. Okay, so this BZIP helps in the recognition of ABA response elements, which in short can be written as ABRE. So this ABA response elements, once it is, it will be AREB. It will be AREB, which will be recognized by BZIP, and this helps in the upregulation of the target gene. Clear? So in this way, ABA and ABA independent pathways, ABA independent pathway helps in the osmotic stress tolerance.